Let's open our eyes to the world that's around us. Science has the answers to the questions that have found us.
Malia Science.
Hey Malia gang, this week we are going to take 3 more questions from our Malia students.
Ready?
Mr. Calderon, what's the tallest mountain in the world?
Whoa, that's a great question. What is the tallest mountain?
Well, that one seems easy. Isn't it Mount Everest?
Ah, you're right. We do consider Mount Everest to be the tallest. But to really answer that question, we got to take a look at 2 other mountains, Mount Chimborazo and Mount Mauna Kea. I don't think I pronounced those right, but we'll show you pictures of their work. Because Mount Everest is the tallest when it comes to the farthest above sea level. But Mount Chimborazo is at the equator, so it's the closest to the stars. And Mount Mauna Kea, that is underwater, so it's the tallest from top to bottom. Let's take a quick look at these mountains and show you what we're talking about. You decide which one's the tallest.
So here you can see Mount Everest is 29,029 feet above sea level. But Mount Chimborazo is over 6,800 feet farther from the center of the earth because of that bulge of the equator. So it's farthest from the center of the earth and closest to the stars, we'd say. Unless you are counting Mount Olympus Mons, which is on Mars. That'd be a little farther, but I think we're talking about just mountains on Earth. And then finally, we have Mount Mauna Kea. And that one is a total of 33,500 feet, but almost half of it is below sea level. So Mount Everest is the tallest above sea level. Mount Chimborazo is the farthest from the center of the Earth. And the biggest mountain, even including the part that's under the sea, is Mount Mauna Kea. All right. Let's try another question.
Hi, Mr. Howells and Rowan. What's the Bermuda Triangle?
Whoa, the Bermuda Triangle. When you hear Bermuda Triangle, don't you think spooky, disappearances, strange? Yeah, there's a lot of legends and speculations about the Bermuda Triangle. And first of all, why is it called a triangle? Well, it starts at the end of Florida. It goes down to the Greater Antilles Islands, up to Bermuda, and it forms a triangle. And basically, this is the area that a lot of planes and ships have disappeared. Well, let's talk about that. Some people think maybe there's aliens or strange weather that happens, but a lot of people are speculative of that. But really, it's just statistics. Let's look at what we know about the Bermuda Triangle. Let's take a closer look at it. And we're going to learn that it's not really such a spooky place after all. As a matter of fact, it's not even one of the most dangerous places to fly over or sail your boat through. But why are there so many disappearances there or shipwrecks there? Well, here's why. Let's take a look.
Okay, here's a look at the Bermuda Triangle. Like we said, it goes from the tip of Florida to Bermuda to the islands of the Greater Antilles, Cuba, Jamaica, Spain, Puerto Rico. And it doesn't appear on any official world map. It's not recognized on the U.S. Board on Geographic Names. But this is where it would be, and this is where a lot of those stories originate. Stories like aliens making ships disappear, or even the lost city of Atlantis having something to do with it, because of several disappearances that happened without a trace. Like they radioed in, hey, we're doing fine, and then all of a sudden they were never heard from again. But you got to remember, they're flying over the Atlantic Ocean. You know, despite its reputation, the Bermuda Triangle does not have a high incidence of disappearance. And disappearances don't occur with a greater frequency. It means they don't happen more often than any other comparable region in the Atlantic Ocean. What we know is that the Bermuda Triangle sustains a heavy daily traffic both by sea and air. And the Bermuda Triangle is one of the most heavily traveling shipping lanes in the world. So, of course, you're going to have more accidents and disappearances there. It's kind of like most accidents in a car happen a mile from your house. Why is that? It's because that's where you drive the most. It's the most frequent place you drive, so you're more likely to get in an accident where you drive the most. And so the Bermuda Triangle might be fun to tell stories about, but it's no more dangerous than any other part of the ocean. All right, let's have another question.
Hey, Mr. Austin Roland, is there any green cats and dogs?
That's another great question. Are there any green cats and dogs? Only on St. Patrick's Day. Well, a cat and a dog is a mammal. So I guess let's look at, are there really any green mammals? Think about it. Have you ever seen a green mammal? Well, there is actually a couple green mammals out there, but they're not green, truly green, like your parrots or your lizards. They're green because of things that are growing on their fur. The 2- and 3-toed sloth, let's take a look at these guys.
So here's a picture of a green sloth. And his fur isn't really naturally green. It's the algae that's growing on the fur and in the fur. And two things make this sloth's fur ideal for growing algae. First, the fact that it is very slow moving and it has long fur. So this creates a nice home. Actually, the sloth and the algae have what we call a symbiotic relationship. That means they both help each other out. The sloth's fur is ideal. It collects moisture and creates an ideal home for the algae. And since the sloths are so slow moving and spend most of their times in trees, the algae creates a great camouflage to hide that sloth from predators. So that's why we have a green-looking sloth, a green-looking mammal. And here we have another greenish-looking mammal. It's a much darker green, but this is called actually the green monkey. And he's green for a different reason, he or she. Looks like it might be a mom, but they're green for a different reason. It's because they have a mixture of yellow hairs with the black hairs, and when the sun hits them just right, we see a greenish tint to them. So it's just the color of their hairs, yellow and black mixed together, making a greenish tint. All right, guys, I hope that answers your question. I think that's all we have time for today, and keep those questions coming. We'll see you next week.
Bye, Emily Gang. Keep those questions coming.
Let's open our eyes to the world that's around us. Science has the answers to the questions that have found us.
Malia Science.
Science.